All systems go. Clear for takeoff.
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. We're back talking some baseball with my man Nades. As usual, nice little 8-game slate, not the 14s, the 12s of the world we were talking about a lot last week in the beginning of the week. 8 games, though, good amount. Pitching, I don't think there's very many viable options, but I think there are a couple that you can mix and match. Hitting, I don't know. I see Nats and Nats chalk a little bit, Blue Jays chalk a little bit. It's an interesting slate. I'm excited to dive into it. Hope everybody out there had a good weekend. Nate, how's your Monday going? How was your weekend?
Yeah, Monday's going good. A lot of golf this weekend, like every day. Trying to hit the course at least 9 holes every day. So it was good. Had a scramble on Saturday. Overall, pretty good weekend in the DFS streets as well, MLB streets. Obviously, a lot of stuff kind of goes weird a little bit on weekends, Saturday and Sunday. But producing content and stuff like that, I always follow it close, watch the games, still post the content for the people out there, even if I am on the golf course. So, it was a great weekend. Beautiful weather here in Wisconsin. I think it's supposed to be like high 90s all week here, which you know what that means, Title. It's humid as can be outside and absolute heat wave going on right here. But excited to talk about this 8-game slate. Looking forward to it. Seems a pretty interesting one. Pitching seems to be a wasteland. And once that's the case, I mean, there's a lot of bats in the slate. So we'll definitely talk on that. But yeah, it was a good weekend.
Love to hear that. Love to hear that for sure. I also before I go, I got to shout out all the people in chat as usual. First, got to shout out our partner over there at drafters.com. Have a great deal. We're using the promo code SHIPIT. Brady Marley and I are going to be doing a best ball draft, another one tomorrow every single week. 110,000 people, $300,000 up top in Drafters' main best ball contest. Use the promo code SHIPIT. They will match 100% from $20 all the way to $100. If you just want to do 20, again, I wouldn't do that. I would max out it. If you want to do 20, they'll give you $20. You do 100, they will give you $100 as well. And then if you just don't want to do the $20 best ball, you want to do that's a little too rich for your blood, they have a nice $3 contest too. You can do a lot more drafts. That's a good way too. 200 divided by 3, you got plenty of drafts going in there, little under 70. Others you can do 20 of those. Actually, it would be 10 of those $20 ones if you do use that promo code. Not in math anymore. Not a mathematician over here. That's too much work in the brain. So you guys get the point. 100% up to $100. Got to shout out some people in the YouTube chat, though. Brian England always in here. Jax, Marty, Tolga, OG. What's going on, OG? Hit that like button is right. No stop. Alex in here. We got King of Smack, Bill B. Our man Hamwich in here, always giving winners as well. 8-Pone, Paraby, Jetty, Go Collect. What is going on? San Marcos. Appreciate all of you guys hanging out with us. A lot of people in here on this Monday afternoon. And I hope everybody had a good weekend, ready for this MLB slate. All we ask from you, like button, subscribe button, helps us out a ton. Even though I trust 114 watch right now, I bet all 114 probably are subscribed, but do appreciate that. And if you are looking to join us at chipandnation.com, get all Nadesify's thoughts, his core plays, Hamwich's core plays, Hoop Slate Plan, top pitchers, his top stacks. G Ryzen does that for FanDuel as well as our pitcher rankings, hitter rankings, stack rankings, projections, as well as cash. If you play that, we have a cash report as well. Everything you need to be successful. MLB, you also got MMA, PGA, and then coming up, NFL, NBA will be here before we know it. All of those sports. One low price, $59 a month, $599 a year. You can't beat that deal with rankings, projections, core plays, everything you need to be successful. That's enough of that, though. Anyone else? Dorian's in here as well. Jacob Stubbs in here. What's going on, guys? Jake in here as well. A teacher doing roll call. Yeah, King of Smack. That's how it feels, but got to shout you guys out. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. That's enough of that, though, Nades. 8 games. Let's dive into pitching. I don't really know how long it's going to take because I think that a lot of these guys are very easy cross-offs. We'll start 8K and above, though. This is where it will take most of the time. Luis Castillo, 10-6. Yu Darvish, 9-4. Jose Barrios against the Dodgers. I'm throwing him out. Easy fade. Logan Allen against KC. He came back and he had a big performance in his first start back last week from the minors. I think he's in play at 8-7. Gets a good matchup against the Royals. I'm interested to see what you got to say, though. John Gray, a tough matchup against Houston. Then Kenta Maeda against Seattle. So touch on 8K and above. I think Yu Darvish will definitely be the most popular. I hope everyone could hear me. My mic was way farther to the left. Just noticed that. But hope it was you guys could hear me well. But Yu Darvish, I think, will be the most popular due to the $1,200 savings from Castillo. And not too many options down below 8K. We'll get there after. But what are your thoughts up here?
Yeah, I think up here, I mean, all six or 4 of the 6 are in play for me. I like 4 of them quite a bit. I think this could be a four pitcher slate for MME purposes. Obviously, there's expensive bats and there is a couple of cheaper guys that are kind of gross. That if you do need salary savings, I have some interest in. But yeah, I'm throwing Barrios out. I'm throwing John Gray out at the top. I actually like the Dodgers quite a bit tonight against Barrios on the road here. Dodgers going back home are ripping the cover off the ball. So Barrios, easy cross off for me. John Gray, same thing. Not really. He's a quality pitcher. I just don't feel like targeting Houston on this slate when there's plenty of other offenses to target with some of these other pitchers. Castillo, I think Castillo is a great play. Obviously, everyone knows the Twins strike out a ton. One of the highest against right-handed pitching here. And Byron Buxton just went on the paternity list I saw today as well. So no Buxton will be in that lineup, which is definitely a boost to Castillo. The only issue is some of these lefties do get to Castillo last 30 days. I mean, he's allowing a 230 ISO against left-handed hitters, 31% fly ball rate. And the Twins' best hitters right now are lefties, 2 through 4, Julian, Kirilloff, Max Kepler, and then Wallner, the young kid in there too. So expect these Twins to load their lineup with lefties like they did. I mean, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lefties in this lineup, which lefties do get to Castillo. So that is definitely a talking point. Castillo, definitely going to be lower owned than Darvish due to the more expensive price point. Yu Darvish chalk is always an interesting talking point. But man, this matchup is great for him. It's really hard to see that, seeing him struggle too much here against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's not the same team they were earlier. 26% strikeout rate on the road this season against right-handed pitching. Yu Darvish has been locked in, and the Padres have been hitting the ball as well. So he should have some run support behind him. Padres have, I think, the highest total, if not one of them, on the entire slate. So I do like Yu Darvish if I had to pick between him and Castillo. With the savings, and that's no light year take. I mean, that's the common take right now that I'm seeing ownership wise. But again, the Twins loaded this lineup with lefties, and Castillo has struggled with some home runs against lefties. It is hot in Minnesota, so I can see Castillo struggling a little bit here. But if I had to pick, it's definitely Darvish for me. And then I do like Logan Allen quite a bit down here. Man, I get it. It's not the greatest park to throw pitchers in there in KC. Is it in? No, it's in Cleveland, right?
Yeah, it's in Cleveland.
Yeah, it's in Cleveland. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, I mean, Logan Allen, I like a ton against KC. I mean, this lineup that KC rolled out strikes out 28% against left-handed pitching. Logan Allen came back last game, absolutely mowed down. So I think he bounces back here. I'm seeing sub 30% ownership on him. Really, I mean, these top 4 guys at the top are all going to be 30 to 40+% owned, I would assume, between Maeda, Logan Allen, Yu Darvish, Castillo. Kind of just pick your favorite. I mean, you could play all 4 of them, to be honest. I think my favorites are definitely Logan Allen, Kent Maeda, Yu Darvish, and then Castillo is a 4th for me, just with the I want the savings, right? I want the savings off these guys. I think Maeda and Allen can match these 2 guys at the top. I actually don't mind a pairing. Going Logan Allen, Maeda, leave those guys out at the top, spend up on some bats. That's actually probably the route I'm going on my main team tonight. I just think they both have tons of upside with the matchups. Kent Maeda, we just saw the same exact pitching matchup, last week, I think. Maeda absolutely mowed down the Seattle team. There's a ton of strikeouts in this team. I mean, striking out over 30%. It is a little bit inflated due to Dylan Moore, but there's only 2 guys in this lineup that strike out under 20%. That's J.P. Crawford and Ty France. So I think Kent Maeda, with his 29% strikeout rate on the year, has an excellent matchup, and you get a nice little salary saving. And who's to say that Logan Allen and Maeda pairing can't match? the performances of Yu Darvish or Castillo. So I like those two guys a lot. If I had to pick a third, it'd be Yu Darvish. Castillo, I'm a little bit lower on, but he will be one of the lowest up here at the top, I think, due to the 10-6 most expensive price point.
Yeah, great breakdown up there. I mean, we just saw it's not very often you see the exact same pitching matchup as we just got last week. Maeda, Luis Castillo, that threw on the 19th. It was in Seattle. It was Minnesota and Seattle. Now if they flip it, they're in Minnesota. Better hitting weather. It's 80 degrees. Minnesota's not as good of a pitcher's park as Seattle, but still two very quality arms. Sometimes we talk about it. So I'll ask you, Nades. I ask this question a lot to certain people, and I haven't seen any statistics or data on it, but a team just saw this pitcher and vice versa. A pitcher just saw this lineup last week. Favorite hitter, favorite pitcher. What are your thoughts there? You don't even look into that stuff.
I don't look into it too much. I do look into BVP a little bit, but again, it's not a sole deciding factor. I mean, I just saw Maeda. It's not like it's a little bit different. That's kind of why I'm a little bit down at Castillo. Not to mention over the last 30-day number, he has struggled against lefties. And and the Twins realize that, right? They typically don't roll out 7 left-handed hitters in their lineup. Obviously, Buxton going on the paternity list makes that. But I don't look into it too much. Really, I mean, it's MLB at the end of the day. These guys, some guys are locked in, like Devers versus Garrett Cole, things like that. But just because it was a week ago, I don't really account for that too much. I mean, you're always going to have the hitters that see or hit better in certain parks, hit better against certain pitchers. But realistically, from an overall matchup standpoint, I just look at total strikeout numbers across the lineup, across the last 30 days, across the season, home road splits, that stuff. And when I'm seeing 30+% strikeout rate for these Mariners and the Twins are at home, which I like some of these lefties Twins salary savers a little bit to get to Castillo. That's kind of the deciding factors that I use.
Yeah, no, definitely makes some sense. Again, I let the data, like the numbers. I like Castillo and Maeda. My number one reason is I like both pitchers in that game. Darvish, I think he will be the most popular. And on a slate with so little pitching options, I just think that Castillo Maeda, it's not going to be a contrarian pairing by any means, but for the 4 or 5 pitchers that I do like, it'll be a little different from the Darvish of the world. In the same game, what I really like, Bill Miller behind the dish, one of the best pitchers, umpires out there. Castillo just mowed down this Twins team, 11 Ks his last time out. And the leash for Castillo is what I love. People talking about or asking about Logan Allen's pitch count and stuff. Yeah, I mean, he definitely is on something. Like, there's no hard number, but he just rolled 5 scoreless, 8 innings, was pitching a gem. They pulled him after 77 pitches in that one. That was his first start coming up from the minors after he was sent down, though. Before that, when he was in the majors, like June 28th to 22nd, 15th in June, 98 pitches, 89, 77, 85, 95. So he was stretched out a little more, like I think 85, something like that. But I mean, I have to think he's on a pitch count when he was throwing as good as possible last time out, and they didn't even throw him out to the 6 when he was below 80 pitches. So yeah, that's at 8.7K. He has a big arm. He has upside. He obviously does have some downside too. He was getting roughed up a little before the minors. I don't mind him for the price discount from the Darvishes, the Castillos of the world, right in the Maeda range. Maeda's also on a pitch count too. Like, he never goes above 90 pitches. So I view him and Logan Allen in the same boat. But I love Bill Miller behind the dish. Just going, we did it last time. I did a lot in the Seattle series against the Twins. Good pitchers were on the mound, low totals, both sides of that game. I like the pitchers. Didn't necessarily work out. I like going back to that today, though. Castillo and Maeda in the same game. Castillo highest K prop on the board. And again, I love looking at who's behind the dish in that one. Good old Bill Miller. Yeah, no Barrios. Definitely would keep Yu Darvish in the pool, though. As someone mentioned earlier, he should have run support. Yu Darvish said the Padres will get ownership. Yu Darvish is a huge favorite. And I will say I like Maeda and Logan Allen less on FanDuel than I do on DK because the quality start means so much. Of course, Maeda is still fine. I mean, he's very efficient in his innings with his pitch count. Logan Allen, after seeing him get pulled at 5 last time, I do prefer the other guys on FanDuel where you do want that quality start. But yeah, I do like Castillo for sure. The 1,200, there's enough savings on this slate. I will say the one guy that's interesting, because I always look at our pitcher rankings over here at SHIPIT Nation. They've been on fire. Boomer's done a great job. John Gray grades out pretty well it's scary because I'm with you. I still think I'm crossing him off, but if you want one guy to be very contrarian on this slate, like we're going to go below 8K, there's very little guys I can make a case for down here. I think John Gray would be the one. Another pitcher's umpire behind the dish. He'd be the one that I'd throw that might be 10% own or something if you want to eat chalkier bats. Trust the rankings. John Gray, a solid pitcher. I like others' upside more, of course. He doesn't grade out as well projection-wise, but that's why his ownership will be where it is. So, yeah, Barrios a fade. If I'm only playing a couple lineups, probably not John Gray, but did want to mention that for the people out there that aren't at SHIPITNation.com. Again, we appreciate you hanging out with us still. You do use those pitcher rankings, though, to help us out. He does grade well in the model. We'll keep it rolling, 8K and below. Again, most of my interest was 8K and above. The one guy that will get some ownership down here is Patrick Corbin. Man, it is gross saying that name, but the Rockies, not at Coors Field, is always very intriguing. There's a lot of outs to be had in this line. If Corbin is throwing well, he can get up to 90-plus pitches or something like that, too. K-prop, 5.5, juice on the under, but it's still rare you see Corbin with that kind of K-prop. Tell me what you're doing about him. Again, he will have the most ownership. If you want to pay up for bats or something, he will be popping. But other than that, Bielak grades out pretty well in our rankings, so it'd maybe be him. Again, I don't love picking on that Texas spot, though. I'm not paying Waino, Grove, Ray. It's Corbin or nothing for me, and I just like 8K and above a lot more. What about you?
Yeah, I like 8K and above. Like I said, I like that pairing, Logan Allen, Maeda. You can still afford a 5-man Dodger stack. You can still afford 5-man Arizona stack, Padres, whatever you want to do with the big bats in there. So that's a nice pairing. That's kind of why I landed on that and left those two guys out at the top on my main team tonight. That's just the route that I saw viable. It avoids this punt range here. I do think there's probably a good chance that one or two of these guys do probably come through tonight in MME. It's just a gross slate. That's typically what happens, right? Gross slate, everyone condenses on 4 or 5 guys, and some of these cheap guys come through and the expensive bats come through, and it's just kind of one of those slates. If I had to pick, Patrick Corbin, definitely my favorite because there is also no CJ Cron in that lineup, and Chris Bryant is also out of that lineup as well. So this Rockies lineup they rolled out is just absolute cheeks. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that strike out over 35% in this lineup on the road against left-handed pitching. I mean, you give me that. I don't care if it's Titletown out there. I don't care if it's Hoop. I mean, I'm going to roster them against a lineup with 6 out of the 9 hitters striking out over 35%. I mean, that's all 30 to 40 plate appearances. So it's not just like 2 plate appearances, 1 game sample, 4 at bats, something like that. I mean, that's 6, 7, 8 at bat or 8 games sample. So I do like Patrick Corbin. I'm seeing right around 20% ownership. I think that's fine realistically. I mean, there's just guys that are going to get ownership. I mean, between him and those 4 guys at the top, I mean, realistically, it doesn't matter too much in terms of ownership outside of Yu Darvish. So I do like Patrick Corbin. If I had to pick one more guy down here, it would be Cy Colin Ray. It's very gross to say, but man, 6,500. He's pitched very well against the Cincinnati team. I get it. Cincinnati is a scary lineup. They don't strike out a ton. I mean, just 22% with this lineup that is confirmed now against right-handed pitching. But man, this guy's owned us every time we've stacked against him this season title, and he's been pitching well. It's just a pure salary punt. I mean, you're hoping for 12, 13, 14 DraftKings points at 6,500 allows you to spend up at bats, gets you a nice expensive secondary stack as well with your main stack. So I don't hate him. Graham Ashcraft does rate pretty well, but man, the Brewers have absolutely tagged this kid around every time they've seen him this year. Willie Adames owns this dude. Christian Yelich is locked in at the plate right now. I mean, Sal Frelick is a complete stud. Bryce Terang is getting going. Joey Weimer in there has some power. So while there is strikeouts to be had in this Brewers lineup, Graham Ashcraft is just not a strikeout pitcher, and the Brewers have hit him well. Some of these young kids are bringing a little spark to these Brewers. I get it. They did just drop the series to the Braves, but hey, Braves are one of the best teams in baseball. So I'm probably out on Ashcraft. If I had to pick 2, it'd be Colin Ray and Patrick Corbin. And Corbin's far and away my favorite of the cheap range. If you're going down here, I don't care about the 20% ownership. I mean, 6 out of the 9 hitters, 35+% strikeout rate on the year against lefties on the road. Sign me up for that.
Yeah, no, that lineup's just so bad. Rockies away from Coors. It's still not fun. I'm still not sure I'm going to get to him, but he's definitely in play. And outside of him, like Hamwich was laughing at the Bielak. I mean, I don't like him. He can keep the ball on the ground. He's going to be 5-6% owned, something like that. Still, again, it'd just be I'm playing multiple lineups. I look at our rankings, take two lineups, 3 lineups in your 20 entry max, you're overweight or something like that. But no, I'm with you. There's enough guys up top. Luis Castillo, Yu Darvish, Logan Allen, Kenta Maeda, and if you want to add Patrick Corbin, they will all get the most amount of ownership, but you mix and match them like a Logan Allen, Patrick Corbin pairing or Allen, Maeda, something like that will be a little lower owned than the Darvish and one of them pairings. I think Darvish does come in head and shoulders above the rest of them at ownership, maybe like 50%, and the other guys are 30 or something along those lines. But you can still definitely play Yu Darvish. Enough spots for bats today. And you can always, the Nats we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the Blue Jays. Some teams getting ownership. Go to the bottom of the order. Stack them differently. There's always ways you can get different. So eating the chalk at pitcher, I don't think you need to play a guy way off the board. If you like one of them, sure. But, I mean, Ryan Nelson, Colin Ray, Ashcraft, like no thank you to any of those guys. Bueno, like a lot of these guys down below, I'm going to be liking bats against them. So, yeah, ranking them, I'm gonna go Castillo 1, Kenta Maeda 2, Darvish 3. I guess I'll go Corbin 4, Logan Allen 5. Again, not the strongest lean. It's just the pitch count, just how Logan Allen was rolling, him getting pulled at 77. His K-prop, it's the same as Patrick Corbin. Juice is on the other side, so Allen's obviously a little better. But that's how I'll rank them. Not the strongest leans. So I think you can flip-flop those guys a lot of ways. What you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go Kent Maeda number 1 for me. Logan Allen number 2. I'm not really concerned about the pitch count. I think the strikeout upside's still there with him. I'll go Patrick Corbin for salary number 3, Yu Darvish 4, Castillo if I had to pick a 5th. But I'm pretty down on Castillo overall, to be honest. I'm afraid of that lefties. I mean, the lefties that Minnesota rolled out, they're hitting the ball well right now, and he struggles with left-handed power, especially the last 30 days. So I'm a little bit down on him, but obviously, I mean, there's still strikeouts to be had in that lineup. So he would be a 5th.
Yeah, Marty goes, be like, might make 1 in 20. Hey, you're with the field. He might even end up a little overweight if you do that. But yeah, I mean, we're not recommending him over here. And what's up, Dakota Simmons? We appreciate Simpkins. We appreciate those words, man. I remember seeing you in the YouTube chat a long ways ago, so we appreciate those words from you. Appreciate all of you guys that did come in. Brian England dropping good knowledge. Ryan McMahon also got scratched. 7 lefties against Castillo. Yep, that's why Nate is on his side. For me, I mean, looking at some of those names for the lefties, I don't care. That lineup is gross. No Buxton. That's the side I take. And again, Bill Miller, anytime I see Big Bill behind the dish, I give a boost. 2 pitchers. That's it for pitching, though. Not very many options, which means a lot of bad pitchers we can target for bats. I'm excited to go game by game, but 235 watching. Appreciate all of you guys out there. If you haven't hit that like button already, please do that. It takes 1 second, helps us out a ton. That subscribe button as well. Going live on this channel every single day, talking about some sport. Can get notified when we go live. Also helps us out a bunch. And if you want all of our premium content, looking at those rankings we keep talking about, hitter rankings, stack rankings, pitcher rankings, all up on the site. Projections, have those as well. Then core plays, a slate plan from Hoop G Ryzen, talking favorite stacks, favorite pitchers, favorite one-offs, core report from me if you play cash games as well. And of course, if you do join, make sure you do get in the Discord. You can ask us any questions, talk best ball in there, everything that you need to be successful. ShipItNation.com. We would love to have you. Game by game, Nades. First game of the night. Colorado Rockies, Washington Nationals. It's going to be a bullpen game for the Rockies. As far as the Nats, Patrick Corbin on the mound. 80 degrees. Looks like wind may be blowing out a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, the Nats will be one of the more popular teams, I think, and that's due to salary. If you look at their lineup, nobody's above 5K. People want to spend up at pitching. They have a good implied total. Like, people are going to go here for salary relief. I don't know. Anytime I see Nats getting some ownership, it scares me. If you go to the bottom of this order, like you always mention Alex Call, Dom Smith has power. I like Keibert Ruiz, maybe Corey Dickerson. Like these guys down low, people are going to pay up in a 1 through 5. That or not pay up, pay for the top of the order that guys are still cheap. They're going to be the higher owned ones. So I actually prefer coming down to the bottom of the order if I played the Nats, just because they'll be way lower owned. They'll still cheap. some bats down there I like. As far as the Rockies, I don't know, man. If Patrick Corbin's going to get some ownership on a slate like this, the lineup is gross, but I think it's crazier things to play some of these Rockies. Prefer Nats side, but I think they're going to get some ownership, which you don't always say with the Nats. What do you see in this game?
Yeah, for Nats, for me, I'm not 5-man stacking the Nats. Bullpen games, I always talk about it. I hate bullpen games. I will mention CJ Abrams like I have been the last week and a half. I mean, the dude is just absolutely locked in. I don't care. I mean, DraftKings is still lagging. I mean, this dude should be 46 to 5K right now, and he's 3,600, so you got a discount there. Steals bases, hits for bombs. I don't care. Jake Bird's not going to be in there very long. So, I mean, and Abrams is fine against the lefty too, so I don't hate that. Alex Call, I always bring him up 2,800. The 9-1 stack is always tasty with these Nats. Abrams will probably be 20+% owned, I would assume, tonight, because shortstop is very gross. And you click on CJ Abrams' game log, and it looks like peak Barry Bonds. And the dude is 3,600 at a weak position. So I like him quite a bit. Actually, it is a weak position. There's some salary to be had. The teams that I like for 5-man stacks, I don't really like the shortstops on them. But hey, he's going to get ownership. Nats are going to get a ton of ownership. I would look at the Nats more as a mini stack. I don't want a 5-man stack against a bullpen game. I get it. It's the Rockies bullpen. They're not great, but I still, on a 10-game or an 8-game slate, I just think there's a ton of good offenses against bad pitchers. I mean, when we talked about pitchers, it was gross outside of 4 guys realistically. And I think I would rather target those than realistically push chips on a overall pretty bad offense in a bullpen game. It's kind of just a double-edged sword there. So mini stacks only for the Nats. I believe in hot streaks, and I mean, it's hard to ignore the hot streak that CJ Abrams is on right now. So love him batting leadoff. Only other guys I really have a ton of interest, a little bit of interest in, Keibert Ruiz, like you brought up, and then some of those guys down at the bottom, Luis Garcia, Alex Call, Corey Dickerson, sure, if you want to, but I like Alex Call a little bit more. Down there on the Rocky side for me, Patrick Corbin's getting ownership, and it's still Patrick Corbin at the end of the day. Don't love the Rockies from a stack perspective, but man, it is still Patrick Corbin. I would look at Diaz and Grichuk, just the two only 2 good bats in this entire lineup, I think. Nolan Jones, I think, is going to be a stud one day. He's just struggled lefty. So don't love him, especially at 4,100. I mean, the dude hasn't hit for any power against lefties on the season and strikes out a 35% clip. So only 2 interest, mini stack, Diaz, Grichuk, the little 3-4 stack for the Rockies at no ownership at all. I think is a nice little contrarian mini stack there.
Yeah, that's how I'd go. Maybe Tovar, just the other side of the chalk at shortstop, a 2 through 4. Diaz and Grichuk, definitely my favorites. And for the Nats, yeah, as good as Abrams been, we talked about him all the time. I like the idea of playing the Nats and not including Abrams in the stack. He is going to be the highest owned Nats due to the position, due how well he's been. He's underpriced. And I think Candyman, too, will get some. Jaime Candelario right in the 3-hole. Third base. Third base is all right today, but 4K. He fits a lot of builds pretty nicely, too. So if you stack the Nats, you don't play Abrams, you don't play Candelario, that's how I like playing Nats, or that's how you get a little different. But you can play Abrams, you can play Candelario, find a cheaper mini stack or a lower owned mini stack, or get a little different at pitching, something like that. And again, I think ownership is going to be relatively spread out through a certain amount of teams. I see people come to the Nats because people are paying up at pitching. Some of the other spots have expensive bats you want. Nats so cheap, going against a bad bullpen, a total right around 5, good hitting weather. Like, it makes sense that way. But anytime I see Nats being one of the chalkier teams, a little hesitant over here. Keep it rolling. Next game on the slate, Kansas City Royals, Cleveland Guardians, Ryan Yarbrough, Logan Allen on the mound, 80 degrees in Cleveland. Yeah, I mean, you like Logan Allen a little more than I do. I still like Logan Allen. I like other pitchers more in his range. And I mean, I'm not playing any of these Royals. If you had to play any of them, I don't know. I guess it maybe just Bobby Witt at shortstop because the power speed combo, he can put up a crooked number for you. But I don't really like any of these guys. As far as the Guardians, I'll let you talk about the Guardians. Ryan Yarbrough, it's going to be probably more of a bullpen game for the Royals. Maybe get 2 innings, something from him. You get a bullpen behind. He might 3-4 innings. He could go a little more than that, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of Yarbrough. If things are going bad, they're going to be quick to pull the trigger on him. Guardians, one of a decent total in this one, going to get some ownership. What are your thoughts here? It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, they got a good total, but I just don't believe it, to be honest with you. It's still Cleveland, the Cleveland offense at the end of the day. I mean, J-Ram, Josh Bell, maybe Josh Naylor has been pretty good. Ahmed Rosario, a little bit more expensive at the shortstop position, lower ownership there because, I mean, CJ Abrams has got to be I haven't looked at individual ownership for position-wise, but I just built lineups, and shortstop is a gross wasteland unless you go all the way up to the top, which a guy I do like all the way up to the top. If you're not playing Logan Allen, Bobby Witt, I always mention Bobby Witt against the lefty, hits left-handed pitching very well, will steal bases. That's the only really interest I have in the Royals. I saw a comment in chat about righties against Logan Allen. Logan Allen striking out 42% of right-handed hitters in 35 plate appearances over the last 30 days. So I like that they have 6 right-handed batters, especially when it's guys the name of Darian Blanco, Olivares, Matt Duffy. Salvador Perez hasn't been the same Salvi. He did just hit a bomb, yesterday, the day before. But, I mean, come on. 6 of these hitters are striking out over 35%. I'll take my chances with a guy in Logan Allen there. So off the Royals, if you had to, just a contrarian Bobby Witt at shortstop at a position where people are really not spending above 3,600 for the most part. I don't think. Cleveland side, like I said, J-Ram, Josh Bell would be my favorite, but I'm pretty much fading Cleveland and fading the Royals. I mean, pretty easy stay away spot for me in bats wise, because I do like Logan Allen quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, man, these Guardians, we talk about it, we say oh, they have no upside, 14-game slate. Somehow they go hit 4 bombs. It feels like a couple days ago they also put up a crooked number. It's an interesting spot because I think other teams definitely get more ownership. I'm not worried about this Royals bullpen. It's good hitting weather. I don't think Yarbrough is very good. You do have cheap pieces at the bottom of the order too, 7 through 9, all 2-5 and below. People are going to go to the Nats. These guys are going to be very low owned down there. Kwan's been hot. It is lefty there. Josh Naylor has been hot lefty. If Yarbrough's not going to be in there very long, Guardians are interesting. I'm going to come back to them. We're going to talk through more teams because I know for sure I like a couple teams more than them, but I think they might go under the radar more than they should, a little under on a slate like this at a 5 total against this KC team. So I'm a little indifferent about them. I'm going to come back and see my thoughts after we get through all 8 games on the slate. I do know I like them much more than these next 2. It's a whole X for me. Mariners, Twins, Luis Castillo, Kenta Maeda on the mound. You don't like Castillo as much, and he is going to get some ownership. So you're going to get to any of these Twins. It's an X off for me, though, for sure.
Yeah, for the most part, and it's an X. I do think Julian takes Castillo deep tonight here at the second base. Nice value play there. Kirilloff, Max Kepler would be my favorite. Just those 3 there. You can include Matt Wallner. I mean, $2,200 outfielder that has power. You can always include someone like that. But yeah, if you're playing any of these Twins, it's a lefties. Only a mini stack, 2-man stack maximum for me. I don't think you need to go crazy unless you're razzling the 888, throwing your balls on the table and 5-man stacking the Twins. But this was the same spot, if you remember, Title, that he 5-man stacked these Twins in this matchup, I'm pretty sure. And he had a very, very good night doing that. So Kirilloff, Max Kepler, Wallner, Julian, I like those guys. And realistically, nobody else too much. I mean, Joey Gallo, you can always play at 3K, but you know what you're getting into there. It's a strikeout or it's a home run. Really no in between there. And he is batting 9th, so don't love that. But I do like Julian quite a bit at 3,300 at the second base position. And then Kirilloff with home run. I mean, those three guys right there, Julian, Kirilloff, Kepler, are all super cheap. Makes nice secondary stack at no ownership. I mean, Castillo is one of the highest pitchers on the slate. I don't think it's the craziest thing on a shorter 8-game slate.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I don't think it's the craziest thing. I was just talking about the Guardians. I know there's a couple teams I love coming up, hitting spread out more. If we had to pick, honestly, like this, eat more chalk at pitching or hitting, I would definitely choose eat some chalk at pitching. Outside of 5-6 guys at pitching, man, you're getting into names that are really gross that you're hoping to even get double digits on. So yeah, I mean, if you don't like Castillo, if you're on Nate's side here, don't think the Twins is the craziest. I would definitely keep it just a 3-man, target the lefties, but it's still a cross-off for me. And yeah, Kevin Wise, he mentioned David Fry in the last game on the Guardians. Yeah, 7 through 9 can play in that catcher, 2.3K, and he's been swinging a little hot stick as of late too. So, yep, don't mind that. If I played the Guardians, I think 1 through 9 you can get to just because of their prices and stuff. But, yeah, we'll keep it rolling. Just want to shout out that call, like the David Fry shout. Again, we appreciate everyone in here. That like button, that subscribe button goes a long way, helps us out a ton, doing free shows every single day from you. So just a reminder, we do appreciate it. Cincinnati Reds, Milwaukee Brewers, Graham Ashcraft, Colin Ray on the mound. Got a 9 total. 2 pitchers we didn't really talk about that we like. It looks like someone just mentioned Jesse Winker. No Winker in the lineup. Or Frelick's. Oh, Frelick's batting cleanup. No Winkers in the lineup. I mean, talk about a story, man. Frelick, well, that was so cool seeing him. I'll let you take it away because there's other teams I like more in this spot. This kind of falls into the Guardians boat. We're going to get to some of my favorite teams. I think there's worse pitchers than Colin Ray and Ashcraft on the mound, but there's also better ones. So any lean on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think this game's kind of a wild card, to be honest with you. The Brewers have hit pretty decent. I mean, they got to the Braves pitchers a little bit. Again, Sal Frelick, I mean, the kid's a stud. I watched him play at the T-Rat Stadium. Title probably knows what they are, a little local team here. High A team now, which is kind of nice because every one of their prospects now comes through high A. They used to be a low A team where you didn't, obviously a lot of the top end prospects just skip right over low A. Well, everyone pretty much comes through high A, and I watched this guy come through at the same time Garrett Mitchell did. Same time some of these other guys did, and they had I forgot the other one. It was Sal Frelick, it was Garrett Mitchell, and the other prospect. I mean, all 3 of them were on that Rattlers team for, I don't know, like 2 weeks, and they were just murdering guys. Frelick was a complete stud, so it's cool to see him having some success, and DraftKings made no mistake about it and priced him up to 3K after 3 games. I mean, last year we were playing dudes at 2K making their debuts for, 3 weeks straight, a month it seemed like, for a while there. He's batting cleanup, I think. Yeah, sure, you can obviously play him. Has some speed there, has some power. Christian Yelich, Bryce Terang hit a bomb yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. He's still cheap. These Brewers are cheap. They do have some power. Joey Weimer, I always bring him up, has a lot of power there, pretty good batter's eye at the plate when I watch the games, sees the baseball pretty well. He's just 2,600. And the Brewers have hit Ashcraft pretty well. Again, Ashcraft sub 16% strikeout rate on the season. I think this is one of those sneakier games that could go nuts for some runs title on this slate, and nobody's really coming to him. I mean, the Reds against Colin Ray, I did have some interest at Ray just because he's 6,500, has pitched well against these Reds. And I mean, 20% strikeout rate, give or take, on the season. One guy I will mention for the Reds that I do have interest in is Mr. Joey Votto at first base. He is expensive, 4,700, but man, he smashes right-handed pitching. He also smashes the Brewers. Every time I see these Reds play the Brewers, it always seems like Joey Votto absolutely murders us for whatever reason it is, whether he hates Milwaukee or what. But he's coming to Milwaukee, guaranteed ninth inning at bats, and historically has killed us. So I don't hate him as a one-off there. But I think this game is a little lower owned. I checked the stack rankings over here on our stuff, and the Reds do have a pretty solid number on this slate. And I think that's why you might have some interest in those Guardians as well, because you're seeing that right there too. So this is kind of in the same category as those Guardians, I think, on the Red side. And then the Brewers, don't sleep on the Brewers, because they did get to Ashcraft twice. I think they faced him right this year. And Willie Adames, I think, has 1 or 2 home runs against him. So I don't hate this game overall, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't love it for the 5-man. I like other spots more. If I did pick a side, it would be the Brewers. William Contreras, Willie Adames, 2 and 3 right there. You can add Frelick, can always add Yelich, but Contreras fill out catcher spot. Willie Adames fill out the shortstop spot. Both got power. They're my 2 favorite bets in there for sure. But I mean, Joey Weimer all the way at the bottom, like Jaime Jones, he's 2.3K. You can fill him out at second base. Talked about Turang. Like, they have so many other cheap spots. You can use the Brewers as a fill-in instead of the Nats, kind of same prices, and get away that way, and they'll be a lot lower owned. So, yeah, there's other spots like more Contreras, Adames, and then get some cheap guys at the bottom of the order if I do go that way. As far as Colin Ray, I stack against him. He throws a gem. I play him or something. He gets blown up on a 4-game slate. I'm going to say no red, so that means maybe you do want to lean to the red side. But I like other spots more. Not in this next game, though. I mean, late games today is what I like more. Usually that is not the case. Texas Rangers, Houston Astros, John Gray, Brandon Bielak on the mound. 8.5 total. Both teams sitting around a 4.2 total. John Gray, respectable pitcher. Bielak keeps the ball on the ground. That's where he does his best work. But, man, the Rangers lineup, the top's pretty good. The bottom's all right. It's not as appealing when they do have the Corey Seagers of the world in here when it's better top to bottom. Jankowski sitting in the 2-hole. I don't love this game as much. Again, other spots I like the Guardians. I keep going back and forth on them. Talking about it, though, I like Guardians more than those last game we talked about. I like Guardians more than both these teams. So, and I know I like a couple spots more later. So I'll say another X for me. What do you got?
Yeah, X for me as well. Don't really have interest in either side. I think John Gray's a decent pitcher. Just don't have a ton of interest tonight. Bielak, ground ball pitcher. You can get to him a little bit. I like the Rangers much more at home against a righty than on the road. So stay away spot for me.
I like it. We got 3 games left on this slate. Again, all of our content will be up at SHIPITNation.com. Hoops Thoughts, Nades, Hamwich, D-Ryzen. You play cash games, get core plays from me, and then all of our tools. Hitter rankings, stack rankings, pitcher rankings, all up on the site. To go with PGA this week, go with MMA, best ball, Discord, a great community full of knowledgeable members as well. Talking all sports. And if you go to the general discussion portion in Discord, people will be dropping dropping NASCAR, dropping tennis, dropping League of Legends knowledge in there. So everything you need. A great community. Really enjoy my time. No tilt. Very, very little tilt in that Discord, which you always do love to see. 3 games left, Nate. 3 games left. I got some interest in all of these when we're talking bats. First one, Pittsburgh Pirates, San Diego Padres. Quinn Priester, Yu Darvish on the mound. This Quinn Priester guy made his made his MLB debut. Absolutely got hit around. -3 points. 5 innings he went. 7 hits against. I mean, he cannot get anyone out against the Guardians. Now he gets a tougher matchup against these Padres. I don't know. These Padres look pretty good to me. 1 through 9. Of course, top of the order is a lot more expensive. However, if Corbin's my favorite lowest owned or lowest price pitcher at 7,300, most of my guys are 8K above I like. It's kind of hard to 5-man stack just 1 through 5 these Padres, which will keep their ownership down a little bit. I think I would probably have to wrap it around, grab a couple cheaper pieces at the bottom. Otherwise, just go full Nats bottom of the order. Guardians 2.3, 2.5, 2.5 in the bottom of the order. Something that way. But I do like these Padres. They are pretty expensive at the top, though. What do you like?
Yeah, I love the Padres here tonight. I'm not seeing them getting a ton of ownership, to be honest, which is kind of crazy to me. This Priester kid his cheeks. The bullpen's not great behind Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken. Give me these Padres, especially Trent Grisham down there, 2,800 in the 9-hole. It's not confirmed yet, I don't think. But him, Campusano there at the catcher position, 2,400, little 7-9 reach around, wrap around, hoop special there with Tatis, Soto, Machado. Cronenworth 1 through 9 for me is in play. My favorite 3 is definitely Tatis, Soto, and Machado, and throw Grisham in there. So I love those 4 quite a bit. And I think adding that catcher in, who's actually got pretty good numbers on the season against righties, is a nice little 5-man stack there. A nice little lower ownership. I mean, you got 2 guys at the bottom, the 3 best hitters on the team as well, to make that overall stack a little bit cheaper. So I really like that 5-man stack for the Padres. But yeah, you can always include the other 4 bats too. I play limited teams, but I think 1 through 9, these guys are in play. On the Pirates side, whenever you got Yu Darvish chalk, it's definitely an interesting talking point. One guy I would look at, Jack Suwinski for sure. The dude smashes right-handed pitching. He does strike out, but man, 436 expected ISO on the year in 97 plate appearances, that's a pretty good sample title, and he's hitting over 430 ISO. I mean, that's north of that. That's in the Aaron Judge category in terms of ISO numbers. So don't hate that. Andy Rodriguez, yeah, it's a limited sample, but I mean, he's a punt catcher again, 2,300 against a chalk pitcher. Don't hate taking one-offs like that against a chalk guy that does have some power. So don't mind that, but yeah, Pirates mostly a stay away spot. Padres, probably my favorite stack of the night.
Yeah, I like it. Definitely. And this guy does not look any good. Gets a tougher matchup now against the Padres, which it was in a different park, which the Padres were on the road. It was a little warmer somewhere. Petco, not the most hitter-friendly, only 75 degrees. But, yeah, betting against the pitcher, the balls will go when they get a piece of Priester. I mean, Tatis, my favorite. Soto, Machado, of course. But like I said, it's hard to five-man them while paying up at pitching. That's where some of those really cheap secondary stacks of the Guardians, Twins, bottom of the order, these Brewers that are really cheap. That's where those secondary pieces come in if you do want to go a Padres stack. But yeah, definitely one of my favorite spots. Not my favorite, though. My favorite's right in this next game. St. Louis Cardinals, Arizona Diamondbacks, Adam Wainwright, Ryan Nelson on the mound. 9.5 total in this one. Diamondbacks, my favorite stack on the night. Waino, man, he's still I shouldn't say getting the job done in 2023. He's still getting rolled out in 2023. Now he is making his first start back from the IL in like 3 weeks. Prior to that, he had negative 0.5, negative 11.65, negative 14.45 DK points. Nice little three quality starts in a row at negative for Wainwright. These Diamondbacks 1 through 9. Waino's just so over the hill. He can't put the ball by anyone. Balls will be in play. They're going to be running around the bases. D-backs, my favorite stack. I think they get to Waino early and often. Thing is, yeah, after Waino gets beat up early, I mean, he probably gets pulled. Doesn't have the longest leash. He'll get the worst arms in the Cardinals bullpen, though. Sign me up for all the Diamondbacks. And the Cardinals are interesting, man. The total surprises me a little bit. 4.2, 4.3. Ryan Nelson, like, I don't think he's a good pitcher. There's other worse pitchers on the slate, but if you're talking Cardinals going to be like 4% owned, 5% owned as a whole team stack, I think the game stack makes a lot of sense. So I'll say Cardinals my favorite sneaky stack on the slate. Some of their big bats are expensive, but that'll keep no one's going to play Arenado. No one's going to play Goldie. And you can sign me up at 2-3% there. So Diamondbacks, my favorite stack. Cardinals, when you're talking ownership-wise, they're going to be so low. That's when you can play Yu Darvish, eat chalk elsewhere. But I think the Cardinals are interesting, too, against Nelson. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I love this game. I love both sides. Title, you're too sharp. I mean, the Cards, looking at Nelson, I mean, yeah, is there worse pitchers on the slate? But, yeah, not much worse. I mean, 263 ISO the last 30 days to both sides of the plate, 35% fly ball rate, which is absolutely atrocious. I mean, the dude is a fly ball pitcher, 17% strikeout rate. I mean, doesn't strike anyone out, gets hit in the air, and gets hit hard. Well, guess what? You got Goldschmidt, you got Arenado, you got Tyler O'Neill in there, Nolan Gorman, Brendan Donovan. I mean, the top 6 I love. Even Jordan Walker. I mean, Jordan Walker's hit for power. Paul DeJong there at the shortstop position. You want a guy that can hit for power. That's going to be unowned at a shortstop position right there at the same price point, a little bit cheaper than the chalk. Played DeJong there at the shortstop position. So I do like these Cardinals quite a bit. Nobody guaranteed 9th inning at bats. Nelson is cheeks, especially last 30 days. He's real bad. The D-backs, man, been one of the best teams in baseball. They're super fun to watch. Hit for power, they have speed. Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll. I mean, Alec Thomas down there in the 9-hole. I always love that dude. Jake McCarthy will always steal bases too. Gurriel, I mean, 1 through 9 for me is in play. Perdomo there at the shortstop position up top, 4,100. That's another shortstop you can play. That's a little bit lower on than Abrams is going to be. Don't hate that. But yeah, like both sides quite a bit. Prefer the D-back side, but I think the Cardinals are definitely a top 5 stack of the night for me. Just looking at the metrics here on Nelson last 30 days.
So you're Cardinals over Guardians, right? You didn't have nearly as much interest in Guardians as me.
Yeah, no, I'll play the Cardinals 10 out of 10 times over the Guardians on a slate like this. I mean, Cardinals hit for power. I think Nelson's a worse pitcher, and they just got guys that smash in the lineup. So,
yeah, no, that definitely makes some sense. Last game on the slate. Again, we appreciate that like, appreciate that subscribe button. Going to get you our low-ish owned pitcher of the night. Get you the dawn of the day before we get on out of here. But last game, Toronto Blue Jays, Los Angeles Dodgers, Jose Barrios, Michael Grove on the mound. 9.5 total, 80 degrees, wind blowing out a little bit in LA. You mentioned you had some interest in these Dodgers earlier. Talk about them and any interest in the Blue Jays against Grove.
Yeah, I said I spoke before. I did like the Padres quite a bit. I like the D-backs. I'm going to give you a ABC 1, 2, 3 here. The Dodgers, Padres, and D-backs are my 1A, 1B, 1C on this slate because these Dodgers, man, I think Barrios gets lit up here tonight. Typically, I don't like stacking against them, but these Dodgers, man, are making a turn. They're smashing the baseball right now. Mookie Betts, that's my home run call. I'll give it to the people early. I get it. He's expensive, 6,500, but that's going to keep ownership low. I like these guys quite a bit. Keep an eye on JD Martinez. Burned me freaking yesterday. Had a disgusting team. Had a 0 from JD Martinez. Gets scratched after the game locks on DraftKings because somehow nobody on the team knew that he had some random hamstring tightness. So that was pretty sweet to see. Pretty good reporting there by the major leagues. But Peralta, Hayward, I mean, 1 through 9. I don't like Outman and Rojas too much. But again, shortstop position. Rojas is 2,800. No ownership at all. You can always include him. But Freddie Freeman, been, I think, one of the best hitters in baseball as of late. Him, Mookie, Max Muncy hit a bomb yesterday, or grand slam, I should say, yesterday. Third base, just 4,900 for him. Like him, again, JD Martinez, if he is in there, I think is an excellent play. But I don't know if he's going to be in there with that hamstring tightness. They might give him some time off here. But yeah, Dodgers, I love a ton. On the Blue Jays side, I'm seeing the Blue Jays getting a ton of ownership because it is Michael Grove on the mound. I think they're fine, but man, I just haven't played the Blue Jays all year, especially when they're going to get ownership. I'm probably going to pass on the Blue Jays. I just like other teams better. I like the Dodgers side more. I get it. You get guaranteed ninth inning at bats, but I'm just off the Blue Jays here. There are some cheap guys in the lineup if you had to go to guys like Dalton Varsho that has some power there, hitting 7th or hitting towards the back. I don't think the lineup's confirmed yet, but off the Blue Jays, Dodgers, a top 3 stack on the board for me.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Blue Jays because they are going to get ownership for sure. And like a lot of their bets, if you want to play Vlad 5K, Springer 4.9, Bo Bichette 5.1K too. Like I'd rather just go right to the Padres, play Tatis, play Machado, play Soto. I'd rather go to the D-backs, play Corbin Carroll, play Christian Walker, play Ketel Marte. There's just other spots with their pricing. If I pay up for other teams, I just would rather pay for the bats on those teams than the Blue Jays. And again, they will get ownership. So yeah, don't love the Blue Jays as much. I do like the Dodgers. I do like the Diamondbacks and the Padres more. So who knows how many Dodgers teams I get to. But after 1 through, we don't have the lineup. Talking projected lineup, outside of 1 through 4, Mookie, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith, Muncy, you will get cheap bats in the bottom of the Dodgers order. So I like using them as secondary stack too. You can always full 5-man them. But again, I like Padres. I like D-backs a little more. That is all 8 games. So I guess let's just talk right on that cue. Top 3 stacks on the slate. I'm going D-backs 1, Padres 2. Man, that's when it gets close. The Cardinals, the Guardians. I'll go Cardinals, Guardians right there. 3A, 3B, and go that way. What do you got?
Yeah, I talked about it. I'm going Dodgers, D-backs, Padres. I mean, those are all number 1 for me. I mean, and then if I had to give a 4th, it would be the Cardinals for sure.
Talking low-ish owned pitcher, I almost didn't even want to say any of this because if all those 5 guys that we talked about are going to get ownership, and those 5 guys being Luis Castillo, Yu Darvish, Logan Allen, Kenta Maeda, Patrick Corbin, if I had to pick anyone outside of those 5, it would be John Gray. Due to a pitcher's ump behind the dish, due to kind of a low-ish owned team total when you're talking the nature of this slate. Then mainly looking at our rankings over here and him grading out well. I'm not going to play John Gray, though. I know that. So I will say Luis Castillo. Feels like a cop-out, though. Again, he is the highest K prop. I don't think he's going to be the highest owner. I think it will be Yu Darvish. He's still going to get ownership, no doubt, though. So, again, John Gray would be the guy if you want a really low-owned one. As far as of those 5 guys, Luis Castillo is my favorite. Won't be the highest owned. So I'll say him, but it's not one of those pitching slates where 14 – viable options, you can feel pretty good about saying a quality pitcher that will be 15% owned. That's not the nature of this slate. So answer that question however you want, Nades, but wanted to let the people my thought process.
Yeah, no, great thought process. I'm just going to give the people my favorite pitcher just because I think ownership does spread. It's going to be Kent Maeda. He's not going to be the chalkiest. He's going to be top 3 on the slate. I just don't care. I think he's got an incredible upside in this matchup. It's a spot where I'm gonna be more condensed on the chalk at pitcher and get different at some of these bats because I'm not seeing a lot of ownership going to these Dodgers. We talked about all the other spots, so give me Kent Maeda.
I like it. Dong of the daytime, and we will get on out here. Before the dong of the day, though, head over to SHIPITNation.com if you want all Nays content, Hamwich, G Rise, and check out their core plays. Check out who Hoop is on as well, who's absolutely been on fire. Check out our projections, stack rankings, hitter rankings, pitcher rankings, play cash games, core plays there, and you have access to all of us in the Discord. Great community. SHIPITNation.com, $59 a month. $599 a year, PGA content, MMA content, best ball, NFL will be here before you know it. No better time to join. My dong of the day, Randall Grichuk. I do like a little bit of Patrick Corbin, though. Love that 3-4 mini stack for the Rockies. Diaz, Grichuk. Grichuk takes Corbin deep is my call. Will be low owned as well. Dong of the day, Nades. What you got?
Yeah, I already gave the people it. It's going to be all the way up at the top. Second base outfield, 6,500. Mr. Mook Daddy, Mookie Betts is going deep tonight off Barrios. And I will give the people another one. Little same team. Include him in the stack. Max Muncy, 4,900. Lock those guys in. They're both hitting Barrios deep.
Love it. And Juice, hit the like before that, or hit the like before you exit. Good luck. We appreciate that, Juice. That is a beautiful dog you got right there. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Juice, appreciate all of you guys hanging out with us. We do appreciate our partner over there at drafters.com giving us our great promo. Ship it, match $100 all the way up to 100%. You put in $100, they'll give you $100 there for free. $3 draft with $30K up top, $20 with $300K up top. Big Marley and I will be doing a draft live tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. So check it out on the YouTube channel. If you subscribe, you'll get notified when we go live. Get in the Discord. Check out all of our MLB content that's going up at SHIPITNation.com tonight. Good luck, everybody out there. We will be back tomorrow, as always. For Nadesify, I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.